Hi guys, Payne here. Welcome back to the channel. If you watched last week's video, you might have seen that I went up to Turmeda Beach and had a great day out of it because it was my first time in a long time shooting seascapes, and even though the conditions weren't ideal, it was still a good day out. And I mentioned how I was actually doing some scouting to try and find a location to do some great, or at least attempt to do great sunrise photography. But a few questions came up where you asked, how do I choose a location and how do I plan out exactly where I'm going to go, but also time it to coincide with sunrise and or what I normally do, which is sunset. I normally do sunset because then I don't have to be up at 3 o'clock or something like that and make sure I'm at the location at least an hour before the sun comes up. So that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'll show you how I find a location on Google Maps, how I check the weather forecast to specifically see the cloud coverage, because when you want to do sunrise and sunset photography, I always aim to have some middle and high cloud, but not low cloud. But then also how I will choose a location or like a specific spot of where I'm going, depending on the direction that the sun is normally setting or hopefully rising if I wake up on time. So without rambling on too much, let's jump on the computer. I'll show you exactly what I do on Google Maps. I'll show you the website I use to check the cloud forecast here in Sydney as well. And then I'll also show you how I use the app Photopills on my phone, because that's literally what I use to determine where the sun's going to be at sunset, what time it'll be there, so I know I can plan enough time to get to that spot, get a location, get a composition, and then wait for the great light to occur. So let's jump on the computer. Here we are in Google Maps, and as you can see, this is right above Sydney CBD, a bit of the lower North Shore and a bit of the eastern suburbs as well. And if, let's say, as an example, we wanted to head out to Turmeda Beach, this is how it's scouted. So I can literally scroll up and move it up here until I find the beach, which I know is just right there. And as you can see here on Google Maps, I have deliberately kept it on satellite view, because if I change it to street view, you can still see the location, but it doesn't really show much as to what is in the surrounding area, or just what it generally looks like. So I like to keep it satellite because I can see that further up here we've got Turmeda Headland, and just south of the beach there's Narrabeen Beach and Colward Beach as well. But for today we'll just stick at Turmeda Beach. What I'll do is I'll take the Street View image icon, and I can see if I put it up here, it's close to where I went on the day, but that's also near to where I parked. And if I move this photo around, you can see this is exactly where I was last week when I did do those seascape photos at Turmeda. It's much clearer conditions and much clearer water right now, or at least the waves aren't as big as on the day I was there. But here I can see that there's quite a lot of rock formations on the beach here in the corner, which would have provided me with lots of opportunities to find someone to take a photo. But then there's also this one right here in the middle where I did finish off the day, because I had taken quite a few photos and I know exactly what it is I want to do if I actually wake up for sunrise. And that is how I choose the location that I want to go. So now that I've chosen the location that I want to go to, it's time to plan. Well, it's time to see what the cloud coverage is going to be like on the day I'm actually planning on going. If I'm doing sunrise, or mostly I do sunset photography, but I see it's going to be a clear blue night. And when I say clear blue, I mean like there's no clouds in the sky whatsoever. I'd be more inclined to not go and take pictures. I'll put a picture up right now of what I did at Mrs. McQuarrie's chair, where there were no clouds in the sky. And as you can see, well, it's not a bad picture. It's just not as interesting compared to one that does have clouds for sunset, like this other picture that I'll show you from Mrs. McQuarrie's, where just by having the clouds, you have the sun reflecting off the clouds as it goes down, and it provides more color, more atmosphere to the photo compared to just a clear sky. Clear skies are great for star trails and great if you want to do astrophotography, but if you want to do sunrise or sunset, when you have clear skies, it's better to start focusing more on the details of the scene around instead of getting the sky in it, because like I mentioned, there's less in there. In saying that, if you're a photographer who likes clear skies and that's what you want to go for it. I'm not putting that down in any way, shape, or form. It's just not something that I'm a fan of. So I'll show you so let's jump back on the computer and I'll show you Cloud-Free Night and how it works, and then I'll leave a link to it down below as well, because they're not paying me to mention their website or anything like that in this video. It's something I found through Google. I did a bit of search to see what I could find, and I found it a useful tool. And if I didn't think it was worth it, I wouldn't recommend it for you guys either. So let's jump back on and I'll show you exactly how I use Cloud4 Ignite to forecast where I'm going to go. You can see I'm eager to get back to the computer. So this is Cloud4 Ignite. It's a website I use to check on the cloud forecasts, because I like to make sure that if I'm going to be going somewhere like for sunrise or sunset photography, that there will be clouds in the sky, because like I mentioned, if it's a clear sky, I'd be more inclined to just do stock shots and not worry about sunset. So what we'll do here is first we'll click on Sydney, since that's where I am right now, and I'll hit total clouds. So you can see exactly what the cloud coverage is. As you see up here on the top, it tells you what the cloud cover is in this picture at 5 a.m. on today, the 22nd of May. All right, so let's say if I wanted to go do sunrise at Turmeda Beach, I know it's going to be about 6 o'clock, 6:30. Probably closer to 6:30 for sunrise. So we'll make it as close to 6 o'clock as possible. So there's 6 o'clock cloud coverage. There's 7 o'clock, and as you can see from total cloud, there is not going to be any clouds at all. Actually, over the eastern coast of Australia, that's going to be within shot of the photo. But if I get time tomorrow and I wanted to do some sunset photography instead, I can press down here and skip forward 12 hours. That's 7 p.m., which is a bit too late for sunset. So let's backtrack it to 5 p.m. And there's still some clouds over Sydney Harbour and the city itself. So if we just go through the different cloud options, we can see whether we've got low cloud, middle cloud, or high cloud. So low cloud, there's a little bit. Medium cloud, there's none. High cloud, there's none. So there's just going to be some low cloud tomorrow. Not a lot of it, but there'll be some. And if I even wanted to see if there's what the visibility is, you can see there's quite a bit. But this is how I can forecast whether there's going to be any cloud coverage on the day that I want to go take photos, because that way I can plan out if I'm going to do sunrise, sunset, or star show photography as well, I should say. So now that you've seen how I choose a location and see what the cloud coverage will be like on the day I'm planning on going, I also want to know exactly what direction the sun is going to be setting at, so that way I have an idea as to what sort of picture I'm going to get when I get there. And to do that, I use an app called Photopills, which is available on both iOS and Android. It is a one-time payment, and it's like 15 Aussie dollars. But it is an amazing tool, and I found that in the couple years I've been using it, it's something I definitely would recommend, because it does more than just show you when the sunrise and sunset is going to be. It also shows you star shows and the Milky Way, which is something I am planning on doing sooner rather than later, and especially before the middle of winter when I'll be freezing. So what I'll do is I'll show you exactly how I use Photopills on my phone, because that way you can see exactly what it is I do. So here we've got Photopills, and for those of you who are familiar with it, you'll see that you've got all the different tools available at your disposal. The tool I use the most is Planner. So there we are, that's curability, but let's say I wanted to head out to Turmeda Beach for a sunrise. So let's zoom out a bit and scroll up. That's DY, Coleroy, there's Turmeda Beach. And let's say I wanted to go back to the exact location that I was before, which was down here, roughly. Let's say it's there. And I wanted to see what direction the sun will be coming in. Let's say it's for tomorrow morning as an example. So let's go to date. Let's choose tomorrow morning, which is the 23rd. Hit OK. And as you can see, here's the 23rd. So the sunrise will start at about 6:20. And this yellow line here is where the sun rises. And as it goes along, you can, throughout the day, you can see exactly where the sun's going to be from morning till dusk, or from dawn till dusk, I should say. If I really wanted to get specific, you can press and hold on that timeline, and it brings you down to much more detail. So 6:09 still dark. Let's see, when does it start to brighten up? Probably about 6:30, the sun will brighten up, and I can see here on the direction, the sun will be coming from the northeast. And then it will keep traveling from northeast to northwest as the day progresses. So now that I've seen exactly what time sunrise is and the direction the sun will, and the location on the horizon where the sun will be when it's rising, and I've been out to Turmeda Beach, so I know exactly what I'll be looking for, I can now look through previous footage and pictures to see what composition I would like to set up before the sun actually comes up, and I would make sure I'm there at least half an hour, preferably 45 minutes, but at least half an hour before the sun comes up. So at least I can capture some blue hour and definitely be there for golden hour. And then I'll see, maybe I'll stick to one composition as the sun rises, or I'll get a separate composition. It'll literally depend on what's going on the day. And I do the exact same process for sunset, where I'll take a look to see exactly what direction the sun is setting in, because then I want to factor in what the sun will be hitting as it sets, and if I want to be in the light side or the dark side of the shadows, to try and get the best picture that I can. That's pretty much it. That is how I scout out and plan to go on a photography day, where there's one or two, normally it's just one location that I plan on going on, and I'll make sure that everything is planned out, because if it's a place like Turmeda Beach where it's nearly an hour away, I want to make sure that I get the most bang for my buck time-wise, so to speak, because, you know, since I've got full-time work and whatnot, I can really only go Saturday, Sunday. So I want to make sure that if I do go, I've got the best chance possible to get the best picture possible, and also make the best video possible for you guys at the same time as well. Because if I know it's going to be a less than ideal time to go and take photos, I'd probably try and find something else to do instead. Or when I say find something else, I mean go and try and take other photos instead of a sunrise, sunset. Like if it's a clear sky, I would most likely go and do star shows at the Harbor Bridge again. So that's how I plan my photos. I hope you've learned something from me. I hope whatever I've done has been beneficial to you. If you do have any questions about how I choose locations, I mean, normally it is just through Google Maps and Street View to see exactly what we've got around Sydney. That's how I decide where I'm going to go. And then I follow the rest of the process that I walk through, where I'll check the cloud coverage, I'll check Photopills. If it's in the city, I'll try and find parking nearby. If it's anywhere else, I'll just try and find the closest street parking I can. And then I'll just head there on the day and see what I can get out of it. Hopefully, when I do go out, I do get an amazing photo. I don't expect to get portfolio shots every time I go out, but that's always the goal, is to at least walk back with one killer photo. If you do have any questions about anything I've mentioned here today, or questions about the Photopills app, I know I've just touched on one aspect that it's got to offer you, because there's bucket loads that it can offer. Let me know in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you have liked this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That'd be greatly appreciated. And if you want to see what comes up next, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and make sure you've got little bell tick, so that way you get a notification every time a new video comes out. Do you actually tick the bell, or is it something else? Tick the bell. And I'll leave it there for today, before I ramble on 50 million different things. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.